Yeah. Again, I started recording. So we'll go ahead with the continuation from yesterday. Yesterday we were doing while loop, I think. I hope you are clear with while loop. Any questions from while loop, friends? So today we have to talk about another important loop, that is what we call for loop. This is the most important loop in Python. Okay. So let's do that. I think I can just let me put just inform everyone that Teams. Okay, let's continue. If anyone wants to join, they'll join. Else, we'll share the recording. So now, this is another kind of loop in Python. So that is for loop. So you can see that this for loop is the most sophisticated loop, which is applied on different types of data structures. Generally, for is used or iterated over collections or data structures. So that's why this is called as a special loop or sophisticated loop, for loop. And you can see for it is used to iterate over collections or data structures. And it works with list, set, dictionary, tuple, string, range, etc. So mostly for loop works with these collections or data structures. And the syntax of for look like this: for dummy variable in collection, and then under that statements. We'll do programs. That programs gives us a clear idea. But this is the syntax for dummy variables in collection statements. And in place of dummy variable, you can declare any variable name, any temporary variable. And collection should be any data structure like list or set or tuple or string or range or anything. Okay. So you can just replace this collection with some kind of data structure. Dummy variable name, it's up to you. Any meaningful temporary variable name, that should be fine. And under that, you have to declare statements. Okay. And flow wise, so you can see here. So what is the execution flow? Every time loop iterates. So if you see that one value from this collection is copied to the dummy variable. Likewise, until all values from a collection you are passing here are iterated, this for loop keeps on executing. It is also same like while, but in while, right, yesterday we did discuss. We have to provide initialization, we have to provide condition, we have to provide incrementation or decrementation. But for a for loop, you don't need all that. You don't need to pass all that. Because for is inbuilt with everything, with initialization and all that. Our job is to pass the collection and a dummy variable to this for loop. And rest of the things are taken care by for itself. We don't need to worry about that part. Incrementing or condition check or initialization, everything is taken care by the for itself. And the execution flow. What happens every time loop iterates? One value from this collection is copied to the dummy variable, and then that we print or we use internally in this block for any kind of logic processing. So that's it, friends. That's the idea of for loop. Understood now? Next one after that. So we'll do few programs. Let's get into that. Okay, applying the syntax and everything. So let's get into that. So now we did discuss this. Yesterday there was a small overlap in the code, right? The reason is because of, yeah, I was thinking generally that happens by mistake if you try to import any module into your code. Suppose if I run it now, you see here, let me run it. It is asking enter number. Suppose I give 1, 2, 3, 4. The goal is to print digit by digit in this program, right? When I enter, you can see we are able to print it. At the same time, it is saying number is even, number is odd. And yesterday I was just checking that why this is coming. Usually I see this happens because by mistake, if you try to import any module means any program, any other program into this program. And you can see even check too, somehow it got imported into my program. And because of this even check is happening. Of course, this is not actually causing any problem with the flow of our program. But still, what the only thing we have to do is why this is coming in the output, because our program is not focusing on checking even or odd. But still we are seeing this in such cases we have to explore that. We have to check it why that is coming into the output. Okay, so I did check it, and the reason why that output we are seeing that even check, odd check in output is because of this. So we can remove this somehow while running the program that got imported into this program, that even check. So that's why this is, we are also seeing even if it is even or odd. Now if I save this and if I run it again, now you can see that you don't see that output anymore. You got it right. So that is it, friends. So that is why we are seeing that output in the program yesterday. So I just checked that after class and then I found the culprit and then removed that. So that's all. Got it right. Now after this, next after this one, the next thing is, what is the next thing? So let's get into the another program, loops. In the loops, so we are going to start with the for loop. Okay, so printing again, I just use for underscore. Okay, 1 to 10. So one thing very important in loops is, let me just show you that. So there are different forms of for here. When you talk about it, so one is working with for, and with that for, we are going to add range in today's session. So what we are going to do, we use range with for loop and then try to work on that the for programs. Okay, so because without any, at least any data structure, working with for is difficult. So that's why we use range function. Let's use range here and then we try to understand all about different approaches of working with range as well. So we try to use range with for and do today's programs. So that is the agenda. Now what is range here? We know for works on data structures, right? Yes or no, friends? Yeah. So range is also a simple data structure. And what it does, it generates a sequence of numbers. It is often used with for loops. You can see this. Okay, because as we often use this with for loops, so that's why we are trying to understand range. And we have three different forms of range, just range of n or a range of start to and range of start and end step. There are three different forms. Okay, so let's try to understand that. What are these three forms here? And we are trying to explore all these three forms and get a clear idea about these three forms. Okay, so let's do that now. So I hope you are clear with this now. What is for, right? It is a special loop which is exclusively applied on collections. And right now in today's program, we are going to apply range with for. And we try to work on our programs today. Okay. So now the first form, range of n. When you say range of n, what happens? So it just try to generate on first n natural numbers, starting with 0. By default, it starts with 0. That's what happens with the form 1. Okay, we are going to work with that. Let me just show you the program. So here we are using a range function. So the combination is for plus range. Sorry. Now we are going to print numbers from 1 to 10. So print 1 to 10. Now the program is the syntax of for dummy variable. That dummy variable name can be anything. It can be A or I or X or Y or anything like some dummy itself. There is nothing wrong with that. I put I for I in. I put range of 10. Okay. So when I say range of 10, what happens here? It produces first 10 natural numbers starting from 0, ends with 9. It doesn't come till 10. Range of 10 in sense, the meaning of this is what? So suppose I just add a simple explanation here. Range of 10 means it starts with 0. It produces 10 natural numbers. Okay. What are those 10 natural numbers? It starts with 0, ends with 9. 10 is exclusive. It doesn't produce 10. So that's the idea. You got it right. So range of 10, again I am repeating. It produces first 10 natural numbers, starts with 0, ends with 9. And that number, whatever you pass n here, n is excluded or it is exclusive. It is not inclusive. Okay, now you just see here, I just print I. Now right click and run this. Now you can see that it is printing 10 numbers. It is that range is generating how many numbers? As name says, range means it produces range of numbers, a sequence of numbers, starting with 0, ends with 9. Now, if you see the output, we have numbers from 0 to 9. You can see the output. And altogether, it produces 10 numbers or 10 digits. But 10, whatever the n you pass here, it produces numbers till n minus 0 to n minus 1. It produces numbers from 0 to n minus 1. Suppose you put a debugger here and right click and say debug. Okay. I'm just trying to run this now. Now you see this now, it started. And you can see the execution flow here. It starts with I0. By default, range produces numbers, range of numbers. If you pass n, it starts with 0, ends with n minus 1. So you can see that now. When I range is 0, right? It printed that again. Range is 1, range is 2. So I mean, whenever definitely, sorry, I am saying range I. So you can see that it starts with 0 and then that is every time it iterates, one value is assigned to I. That change you can see here in the execution here, in the debugging this thing here. Okay, next after that, I becomes 4 and it is printed. I becomes 5, it is printed. I becomes 6, it's printed. I becomes 7, it's printed. I becomes 8, printed. 9, printed. And finally, 10, we don't have 10 there. It ends once it reaches 10. So what is the execution flow? Every time loop iterates, one value from range is copied to I, and then that is printed. And this automatically happens. You don't need to worry about it. Your for loop is designed in such a way. It checks it every time. It checks whether it has reached end of that data structure or not, or collection or not. Okay. So all that initialization, condition checking, incrementation, everything is taken care by the for itself. I hope this is very easy to understand. Is that clear for all of you friends? Understood now? So that is the idea. Next after that. So once we understand this, the next thing is what is the next thing? So this is about printing numbers from First n natural numbers. Suppose you ask me a question. What is that question? You want to print this in reverse order, right? Or you want to print it in some range of value, some 10 to 20 or 30 to 40, something like that. In such cases, this range is not sufficient. This is only just to print default natural sorting of values. Okay, because the range of some this just produces the n natural numbers. That's all. I got it right. So let me just show you different other forms as well. Suppose the other scenarios. What are those scenarios? So let me just show you here. Okay, so you let it be there like that. You don't need to worry. There are, suppose these are the questions to you. So this program is fine when you say range of n. So this generally generates first 10 natural numbers or n minus 1 natural numbers. That's all. N minus 1 natural numbers. Okay. That too, always it uses ascending. The order of generating values will be always ascending. You got it right, friends? Yes. Ascending order. Suppose I want to print numbers in descending. Okay. One is descending order. Or I want to print numbers within a range of values. Okay. So suppose range in sense like, a range of numbers, something like I want to print 10 to 20 or 30 to 40, something like this, just an FYI, some 100 to 1000, something like this. I want to print in between a range of numbers. Or suppose I want to print all even numbers, 1, 2, 3, sorry. Okay, print even numbers. So 2, 4, 6, 8, blah, blah, blah. Similarly, I want to increment a value by 2 or decrement a value by 2. So increment a value by 1 or by 2 or by 3. So, okay. So there are different scenarios here. So the range of n just, right, if you see here, it just produces first n minus 1 natural numbers starting from 0. And it always produces values in ascending order. Okay, suppose I want the other way. I want some values in descending order. Okay, or I want to print a range of numbers between 10, 20 or 30, 40 or 100 and 1000. Or other scenarios like this. I want to print even numbers from like first 10 even numbers or first 100 even numbers, right? Or within range of numbers. And I also increment some values by 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, something like that. In such cases, this range 1, this range of n is insufficient. This is not enough for us, friends. You got it right. Then what is that I should do? I have to go for range of second form. You can see here there is another two forms of if which handles this kind of requirements. And we'll try to understand both forms very clearly. I hope I made this very clear for all of you. The first scenario, you got it right. Of course, we can use all these three different forms wherever it is necessary. There are places where we can use this first form, range of n. And second form is range of, what is that? Start and end. Where to start and where to end. So you can choose a range of numbers. Third form, range of start and end. You can also have a step with custom increment or decrement. Step in sense, you can choose, right, what is that increment here? What is that step here? By how much you can increment this range of values? Or by how much you can decrement this range of values? So these are three different ranges we have. Okay. So let's do the second range. Suppose I want to print numbers from What is that? From some 10 to 20. Okay. So that I cannot manage with this range because of either I can pass 10 here or 20 here. If I pass 20 for this range, it generates all that natural n minus 1 natural number starting from 0 to 19. That's it. Suppose I want to print 10 to 20. In such case, I have to go for range 2. This one. Start and end. You can see it's very simple. See here. Some for I in range of. Okay. So what is the start I should pass here? Start is 10 and end is, suppose if you want till 20, you pass 20. You got it right. If you want to print numbers from 10 to 20, then start should be 10, end should be 21. Why 21? Because this end is exclusive here. If you pass 21, it takes up to 20. It takes up to, if it is n, it takes up to n minus 1. Got it? So it's so simple. You can see this. It's simple, right? So now print it. So just print I. That dummy variable name, you can change it as per your convenience. It should not be I always. You can put X or Y or Z or dummy or anything. It should be fine. Now you can run this. Now you can see that. Suppose we'll do one thing. We'll comment this just for observing each scenario very clearly. Now let me run this. Now you can see this. Now you can see that we are generating numbers from 10 to 20. And this time I'm choosing a different range here, a different style of range function, where we have start and end here. This is something we can control here a bit more, or we can manage the range better with this second approach. You can see, right? This is another, this is scenario 2. The range of start and end. You can choose where to start, you can choose where to end, and we can choose what range of values you want to produce in between that start and end of that numbers. You got it right. Next, form 3. This is more interesting. Okay. So here, if you choose this, we have a start and end step. Of course, second and third are almost similar. But the difference is, even second, the first one and second one generally, both of these can generate values in ascending order. They don't have capacity to generate elements in descending order. Suppose I want elements in reverse order, right? So either this or this are not sufficient for that. Suppose I'll try this. Let me just show you. Suppose I want to print from 10 to 1. Let me put it here. See here. Let me try this and right click and run this. You don't see any output here. You can see this with the range 2. With the second form of range. Because if I should decrement, then I should have a step here. And without step, I cannot do the decrementation. So in such case, if you want to print increment, print in increment order or decrement order, or okay, anywhere between a range of values. So all that can be implemented with the form 3. Following here, this range 3. So this is more efficient style of range because the first two generally generates elements in ascending, in incrementation. Okay, so let's just understand style 3 here. Range of start and end and step. The advantage with this is you can generate any sequence of numbers either in ascending order or descending order or in between a range of values. So overall we can see the third form is the most advanced form compared to remaining two other range forms. Okay, so let's go and check this. So here, suppose I want to print numbers from 1 to 10 again. You can comment this. You understood this range function, right? Form 2. So let's comment this, and then for I in a range of what you can do 1 comma 10 comma 1. See, I'm using the third form of range where I try to start with 1 and end with 9, 10, and then the third, you can see that there is a third parameter. So that is the step here. When I say 1, we are incrementing this loop by 1. Of course, for this, even if you don't mention, yeah. Anybody has any questions, friends? Krishna, do you have a question? Okay, seems like the third form. I think we are discussing till this. The two other forms are clear for you, friends. Are you good with that? Can you just confirm? Okay, then. Okay, fine. Next, the third form is something more advanced where we have different, we can play around with different ways of generating these values. Okay, now we can just pass one just for testing purpose. This one acts as a step. When you pass one here, it means you are incrementing this loop by step 1. A natural sorting starting from, natural incrementation starting from 1 to 10. Okay, now print I. Print of I. Now you see this. Run. It's same as this other two previous programs you can see. But we choose a range, we can start from 1 here. And we can end wherever we want. And then the step is 1. So this is printing values in increment order. Now we have with this kind of range, we can control this in different ways. Suppose I want to print numbers from 10 to 1 in reverse order or decrement order. Then I can use this third form of range. So what I can do, so copy this and paste it here. So this time there is a slight change. That's all. You don't need to do anything. Simple change. What is that simple change? Here, first change the start value. It should start with 10, should end with 1 or 0 if you want till 1. And then here, if it is decrement, steps should be negative, -1. When you say -1, it decrements a value. It means it's a negative step. Negative in sense you are doing decrementation. And based on that, you have to choose your what should be start value, what should be end value. Okay, now if you print it, you can see elements printing from 10 to 1. You can see that there. So this is how this third form of range works. Okay, suppose this is what is that? I hope you are clear with this printing 10 to 1. It's so simple, right? It's very much simplified and very much easier. Okay, suppose I want to print, you can see that another program. Let's do one. So this is clear, right? Before I jump to the next program, all of you are clear with this third form of range, right? Where you can choose start and end as well as step. And this third form of range can be used to work on different scenarios. Okay, an increment order or decrement order or increment by something. I'm doing the third scenario again, one more program. This time, suppose I want to print a range of numbers, but I want to increment by a certain step. Suppose I want to print 1 to 100. Okay. Now, if you just pass 1, it's as simple as just printing 1 to 100 numbers. Each time we are incrementing this value by 1. Suppose I put 2 here. What is this? This is nothing but it is trying to generate range of numbers and each number incrementing by 2. The step here is 2, which means you are asking to increment this range of numbers, each number by 2. Suppose if I run this now, see this, you can see that it started with 1, it generated all that odd numbers, you can see that. because the start is 1, so that when you increment that odd number by 2, that 1 by 2, always we get a sequence of odd numbers here. Suppose if you want even numbers, either you can start with 2 here, you can see. Now run this down. You can see that it started with 2 and you got all even numbers. But the point is here we are not checking if it is even or odd. But the program here is we are trying to increment by 2. So when you increment that range of numbers by 2, you can see the output. You can see that, right? So when you say the step is 2, that means increment by 2. Maybe you can use it for generating even numbers or odd numbers. It's up to us because we know we can use this step even in that way. Suppose I want increment, I put step 3. What is the meaning of this step 3? Means it increments each value by 3. It's as simple as I equal to I plus 3. Now if you run this now, you can see that it starts with 1, increments by 3, again increments by 3, again increments by 3 till 100. You can see that. Okay. So that is the idea. Suppose I want the count of these numbers. How many are there from 1 to 100, which are when we increment by 3. Just take, what is that? You can just declare a simple variable here. I'm just showing you a count variable, count equal to, set it to 0. And then every time this is printed, you can just say count, simply count plus equal to 1. And then you can just print it, print that. You can use F string. The total numbers are, okay. And then you can just add that count. So with this step incrementing by 3, let us see how many values are there in the first 100. Okay, let's run it now. Now you have a count of 33 numbers when we increment by 3. You got it right? So this is how this range function works. Suppose I want it in reverse order. So again, I want to decrement elements from some 100 to 1. It's not just it should be 101. It can be any range, friends. For demo purpose, I am choosing just a 1 and 100 or 101. But you can apply it on any kind of range here. And I want to decrement this by 4. See here, -4. You have to use a negative. When you see negative in this range means a negative step, means you are doing decrementation. Positive step, you are doing incrementation. And that is possible only with this range. Remaining 2 ranges, they don't have this control. They generally has to do only the ascending or increment order. That's all. Okay, now let's run this now. Now you can see that elements getting from 100 and then decrementing gradually by, you can see from 100 to till 1. And each step you can see that decremented by 4. So this is overall idea of range functions for loop. What is for? For is the most efficient loop that is applied on these data structures. And if you ask me, most of the time in my day-to-day work, I use for loop. I don't use much of while. Believe me, trust me, friends. Most of the times I prefer for rather than while. Of course, in very rare scenarios, we try to use for while loop. But in almost all, in every programming, we work with the for itself. So that is that flexible, that simple, that important is for loop in Python automations or Python development. You understand more about it. Okay. So that is overall idea of what is this, friends. Both we try to learn two things in one shot. That is for loop and then the range function. Different forms of range. The range of n, where it generates n minus 1 natural number starting from 0. Range of start and n, where it generates elements within the within the range here. What is this? Within start and n we specify here. And is always up to n minus 1. You can see that. Okay. So next after that range of start and end and step. That is the third form. And it produces this step represents custom increment and decrement. We just discussed all that. So this is the overall idea about range function and how to work with that. What is the syntax of for as well? We can see now you understand the syntax better for dummy variable in collection, right? What is the execution flow here? What is the execution flow of this for loop? Every time loop iterates, one value from this collection is copied to this dummy variable, and then we do something on that inside this for block. Here we are just printing, but in development we do certain validations. We try to iterate over and perform certain calculations. There are many things we do on this range of data or on this collection data. Okay. Anyhow, we are going to work with for right. I mean, in all that we are going to apply it on all data structures. So we are going to work with for rigorously. So you get a very detailed understanding of for. So this is overall idea, friends. So you can just, if you want, you can try this example. So overall, I hope you got clarity on for. This is one of the very core concept of Python again, understanding for. I hope I made this example easy for you, right? Is this clear for all of you? Right. Okay. Any questions before I jump to the next topic? Because this is about for loop, and today we jump to the another very interesting and very important thing. All these programs we did discuss, so we don't need to again we'll go through that. Just add it in the PPT. You can use it for your practice. Okay. So now, what else now? This is about for and range and combination of for with range and the programs. Before I jump to the next topic, what is our next topic, friends? So that is strings. Any questions so far? Any Q&A? Do you want to ask me any questions? So no questions, then it's fine then. So then we'll jump to the next topic. What is that strings? So what is a string here? So this is another important topic in Python. Okay, what is a string? Right. Anyhow, we are going to again revisit the first topic while working with string as well. I'll just show you how you can play around any collection with using for. Such is the importance of for loop. Okay. So now let's see this now. So with a clear understanding of for and range and how to play around with combination of for and range. So I'm moving to the next topic, right? Having that satisfaction that we are clear on that. So string topic. And in any language, not just Python, Java, or any most of the times, even if you go to data analysis, data analytics, data engineering, big data analytics, anywhere, 90% of the data you process is string data. Trust me. Okay. Most of the time, the data you play around is string type of data. You got it? Such is the importance of that because all that data which generates in internet, okay, on social media or in any organization, most of the data is a string data. So then you understand the importance of string here. What is string? We did discuss this earlier. We just have a very brief understanding of string. String is something which is sequence of characters. You can see that. And then which is declared in single quote, double quote, and triple quote. Understood? So that is a string. Right? So what is string here? Generally, we declare it in single quote, double quote, and triple quote. And when should we use single quote? Single and double are same. We use it for most of the time for regular string declarations. And triple quote we use for multi-line strings or paragraphs. And also we use that as a doc string and for comments too. If you want to declare lengthy comments or big comments, we use this triple quotes. So that is the idea. And we had already have a brief intro of all this in while we discuss that data types topic. Okay, so let's get into the furthermore a deeper introspection of string. So got it right. So now if you see this here, the class string internally uses a class str. Okay, let's just quickly test it now. Suppose I want to declare string. I'm closing this and creating a new file. Altogether, I'm creating a new package because I name this as string handling. Okay, this is a beautiful topic which is very essential, very important for us. So now what is the program I am going to do? I am just name it as a string intro. So what is the basic, what is that we should test with string? Suppose I take a string S1 and I just put it as something like, okay, no take, just add it like that. So this is a simple string and we can declare that in different ways. Let me just declare it all different ways, okay. We did discuss this already, S2 and S3, and I put it in that in single quotes. Okay, let me go with the declaration of this thing. And another form in double quotes, another form in triple quotes. Of course, we are very clear when should we use single quote, double quote, and triple quote. If it is just a string, simple string, like very simple string like nom tech, hello, hi, then choose single quotes. Suppose if I say, if I want to add a bit single line strings, a bit little bigger ones, nom tech is a learning platform, something if I say this, then choose double quotes. And triple quotes, you can use it for multi-line paragraphs. So you can just add something like learning platform, something blah, blah, blah. Okay. So for different courses like, Python, AWS, you can just add like, AWS, DevOps, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Just add that. So this is a multi-line string. You can see that. If you want multi-line strings, choose this triple quotes. Just a simple string, choose single quote. Suppose I want just a line of text, then choose double quotes. Of course, it's up to you. You can use these quotes for any of these things. Even for single quote, sorry, for a simple string, we can use any of these strings, like single quote or double quote or triple quote. It's not like we should choose only single quote for just simple string and only double quote for this kind of string and only triple quote for this kind of. But of course, for multi-line strings, definitely we have to use this. You got it right. We have to use triple quotes. But I think I made it clear when to choose which quote, either single quote or double quote or triple quote. Right now, let's just print it and see the output. So what is that? Print. Okay, I'm just printing directly. I'm not just doing any decoration here, just or enhancing the print strategy here, just directly printing. Now you can see that. Let's print it now. And you can see different outputs here. You can see it. Single, I mean, just a simple string with single quotes, just a simple line of string with double quotes and a string with triple quotes. You got it right. So this is overall simple idea of strings, like, how to declare them. And suppose another just a quick dig into this or going a bit deep into this observation. Suppose I want to see data type and address. What do you do? This is already discussed. Then you can simply say print. What is that you do? Type of that variable. This gives you data type, and if you want to see that, the data type is string is always str. And if you want to check address, you can just see that idea of that S1 or S2 or S3. It's up to you. So this is how it is. You can see there. You understand, friends? This is the idea of what is that? The idea of strings here. Any questions so far? Questions, friends? No questions. So that's good. Either if no questions, either you understood it thoroughly or you didn't understand anything. That's what my teachers used to say. But I'm sure you might have understood these things. Okay. So next after that, this is just a quick intro of strings. What is string? Right, you can see that here. Where is that documentation? What is string? Sequence of characters. Like in other languages, like in C, C++, Java, there is a division of strings. There, single character constant and string constant. There are keywords like char and okay, and character array for strings. But we don't have all that. This Python, I mean, made everything simple. No complex understanding. It's a very simple understanding. Okay, now next thing. Getting into the string topic. What is that? This is very important. From here onwards, we are going a bit deep into this thing. Also, one more important thing, which is not mentioned here, is that a string is a collection or a data structure, and it's a sequential data structure. Again, even we just mentioned that it is sequence of characters. That is good. Now, another important point is a string is a sequential data structure. Okay, sequential data structure, or you can call it as collection. It's up to you, because we have a group of values inside a string. And understanding the internal architecture of string is important, or internal representation of string is important. And if you understand this carefully, it's very easy for you to understand list and tuple, the other two different kinds of sequential data structures. Okay, so let's get into this. What is this internal representation? And if you see this, every string internally has an index. If it is other languages like C, C++, Java, we have only positive indexing, starting from 0, ending with n minus 1. But in Python, we have both positive and negative indexing. I used to play a lot around this kind of both mixed scenarios, because I generally always deal with data. So I need to do automations. For doing automations while working with COPS means dates and all, I use both kind of indexing. So in Python, we have both forward and backward indexing. More than saying forward, backward, we have positive indexing and negative indexing. Let's make it much more easier to understand. And that indexing look like this if you see here. Suppose I have a string with a 3, right? And you can see that. You can take any string in that place. It's not like you should put only that there. Okay, so what is that here? This is how that string is created. You can see that. So, and then the indexing look like this. Suppose you see this now. How many characters are there? You can just observe this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 characters are there. The index starts with 0, ends with the n minus 1, that is 7. And again, the negative indexing, if the size of this length of this string is n, then it starts from minus n to minus 1. The easiest thing to understand. You got it right. So that's how. And even the other example you can see here, I have nomtech. And this is how it's created. You can see there. It started with the 0 for positive index, right? And then you can see ends with the n minus 1. For negative indexing, it starts with minus n to minus 1. So that is overall idea. This is how indexing is created. Understand that. Suppose if you want to you are very new to Python. So how to get this? Suppose you take a string Python itself, the simple string. Just take a simple string Python. Okay, uppercase or lowercase or mixed case, it's up to you. Then how do I declare this indexing? Simply always keep this in mind, right? Python. And the indexing, it starts with 0 for first character, and then 1, and then 2 for second character, third character. Okay. 2, 3. Likewise, you have to take the indexing. See this. And 4. So for each character or each value, there will be an index. But what is that index? You should understand it with this examples. Right. So next, negative index. What is that? The length of Python is 6. So it starts with -6. And then what? Let me just push it a bit for better. -5. Okay. And then -4. And then -3. Okay. And then -2. And then -1. You get this now? And this is how you have to set indexing. You got it right. You don't need to do generally arrange any indexing, or you don't need to specify any indexing. If you declare a string in Python, by default, indexing is generated or created by the interpreter itself. You don't need to worry about it.
So it is by default, the indexing is already allocated or assigned to the string itself, is it?
Correct. So yes, Madhu. If it is, yeah, I'm not seeing who is Madhu, right? Or Sushmita?
It's my hand, but I interrupted, sorry.
Yeah, it's fine. You are allowed to ask questions. You can happily interrupt, no problem. Yeah, to answer your question, yes, Madhu. By default, indexing is assigned by the interpreter itself. We don't do anything, but we are understanding it because this is very much needed when you do development or any kind of automations or analysis. Understood? So let's check that. Let's understand that. Now you can. Do I make this indexing scenario clear for all of you? Is this clear for everyone, friends? Can I get an S from you? Then I'll jump to the a bit to the next step. Okay, let's test all that. Let's understand it better with examples. All of you are clear on this? Okay. If you understand that, maybe you may join anytime, friends, because this is the very starting point of strings. So you can continue from here. You can understand everything here. So now with all this set and understood, let's move to the next level of this string topic. So how to access strings? Generally, we access it with index because we know that string is a sequential data structure. Applying indexing is the always the best choice. Now you can see that we just chose that that variable of index. Suppose if you want to see that in terms of syntax, what is that? It's something like that variable name, that string variable, whatever it is, of you have to pass index. If you want to get some value from that string or a character from a string. So this is the syntax, and these are examples. S of 0 means I get a character from that 0th index. Suppose if it is Python, it would be we get P here. S of 1, we try to get a character from first index, which is nothing but Y. Of course, in this example, if it is Python, so if the string is Python, you got it? Suppose a string of 7, we don't have 7 here. We don't get anything there. Understood now? So string of 9, even we don't have it. So let's play around this. Okay, let's come here. Okay. So now what I do is I just remove all this. Just take one string. Don't go with too much of this thing. Let's go with a simple scenario. So this is the one. Suppose you can take, let's keep this now take here. And then I'm just trying to print here, extracting elements. I'll just choose, so extracting characters. Characters, how I am extracting characters. using index. Suppose I say print S1 of 0. And you know, right, there is an indexing for this, any string, not just only this nom tech. We have a indexing for anything, anyone like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, and then 7. Based on number of characters inside that, yeah. It starts with 0, ends with size -1. We have the length of nom tech is 8. So that's all. But we get an error here, so put that indexing in comment. So that makes our life easier. Also, we get a clear idea. And similarly, the negative indexing, you can just add what is that here under this. You can just say, so -8 and then -7 and then -6, blah, blah. You can just say dot, dot, dot. Just leave it like that. When I say S1 of 0, it prints what is that? It prints the 0, the character from 0th index, which is nothing but n. Suppose print, I say S1 of some 3. When I say S1 of 3, it prints a character from third index 0, 1, 2, 3, which is nothing but it should be M here. Okay. Similarly, print S1 of -1. You can see that I am using a negative indexing. -1 is always the rightmost character, which is nothing but H. Okay, then you print H here. Okay, next after that. Suppose if I say print S1 of -2, this is very much needed when you are doing automations. I'll bring in some scenarios to play around all this. Okay. When I say -2, you get that C here. So the second most character here is from the right side is this C. -2 is C. Okay. So similarly, what else we can do? We can have combination. Suppose I just say something. Let's first test till this, then I'll just show you how to play around different. You can see that. NMHC, whatever we just put validated, all that characters we can see in the output. You got it right? Suppose, so this is another scenario. This is about indexing. How to extract a character from a string by applying indexing. You can see that here. This should give you a clear idea. Okay, this is one way of getting values. Next way, second way. Okay, second way of printing, getting elements or characters from a string. So that I am doing through iteration. This is a data structure, right? All of you agree with that, right? It's a data structure. So I can use for loop. I can iterate with for loop and print character by character. So what I'm going to do, iterating a string and then so one way of trying to extract a character is using applying indexing. Another way of extracting characters is iterating string. That too using what is that for loop? Iterating a string char by char. Okay, how do I do that? Now we know about for and range and all that. Now you don't need range because earlier we don't have anything. So we use just range to fill in that collection. But now we have a data structure string. So I'm going to use that. So what is that for? Some char, okay, in S1. Okay, you can see that. And then I'm printing that char here, print char. Okay, sorry, friends, print char. So you can see here now. What I'm doing right now, I am iterating a string, this collection string, and printing character by character. How many times this for iterates? It iterates almost for 8 to 9 times. Every time loop iterates. What is that? One character from string is copied to this dummy variable char. And that is printed. Now right click and run this and you can see that it's printing there. Okay. Because we are also getting the other characters from, we are extracting through index. That's okay. And you can see from here onwards, you can see that all that string nom tech is printed character by character. You can see there. I hope this is clear for you, friends. Understood now? So this is how we can play around this printing, extracting characters from a string. Okay. So next, another scenario. This is way two. There are other ways. Way three. What is that? Applying slicing. Suppose I want to get a part of this string, like the first part of string or the last part of string, middle part of string. Okay. Then what is that I should do? This is very, very, very important for you friends. That is called slicing. I am going to talk about another beautiful topic of strings. What is that beautiful topic? Slicing. You can see that. What is slicing? Slice, as name says, mango slice, apple slice, or any slice. We just extract a part of that fruit or something. Same thing we do in strings. Okay, extracting a part or a substring is nothing but we call slicing. And the index is this, that variable of that string, or okay, not just this. Slicing is not just applied only on strings, it is applied on even any sequential data structure. What sequential data structures do you have? The popular sequential data structures are string and list and then tuple. There are few more unpopular, like bytes and one more byte array, right? Or array byte. I don't exactly remember, but slicing is applied on any sequential data structure, not just strings. Just remember. Understand this here properly, and you can easily play around with other sequential data structures. So this is the syntax. What is that? That variable name, start index of the slice and the end index of the slice. Of course, this end index is exclusive. Exclusive means it is not included. And you have to keep that in mind when you are extracting a slice. So that if you want something till that end index, you have to add +1 here. So that you don't miss out it. You got it. So that's what this slicing is. Slicing is a mechanism to extract a part or a substring of a string. Now let's apply here. Come here. So the way three. This is a very, very, very important thing. Way three, slicing. And we apply slicing a lot in our day-to-day development. Trust me. Okay. So how to do this? Simple, right? We know about the architecture of indexing, how that index look like internally, and both types of indexing, positive and negative indexing. So now we can play around it. Suppose I want just only the nom from nom type. What do I do? Just apply print. You can copy to any, if you want, you can assign it to any other variable. It's up to you, any local variable. But for now, I'm printing it directly. I just say S1 of the first four characters, right? The index starts with 0. And first four instance, I put 4 here. Okay, it takes 0 to 3. For that will be enough for extracting first four characters, right? 0, 1, 2, 3. That counts to 4. And this 4 is excluded. You got it right? Because in fourth index we have T. So when you put past 4, we can extract a string till 3. You got it right? So that is the idea. Now you run this now. So I am able to extract just nom here. You can see that. Suppose I just want to extract only tech. So what is that? Let's again slice tech. Now I know that T stands at which index? Right, it is in fourth index. So our start index should be 4 and end index. Where is the end index? It's 7. If you pass 7, it will take till 6 only. Then what is that I should do? I should pass 8 here in slicing. If you want to extract till 7, then you should pass +1. 7 plus 1 is 8. Now run this. Now you can run this. Now you can see you got 10 here. But I'll just give you some secrets. Okay, what are those secrets? Of course, it is there in documentation. Just for you know, ge- having your attention, I am saying secret. Okay. Suppose if it is just the last string, I mean last part of a string. Okay. So then I can just simply say 4 colon. You can see the secret here. What is that secret? If it is a substring which is in the second part or end part of a string, you can just mention 4 colon. That is enough. You don't need to mention the end index here. It starts with 4 and then just gets that slice till the end of that string. Are you following, friends? Again, you don't need to specify anything that end index. That is not needed. Okay, but it's up to you. In the beginning, if you want, you can add it for a while. After that, once you are experienced, once you get hands on, then you automatically you don't feel like adding all that. Okay, let's run this now. You see same output in last two outputs. You can see that tech and tech. This makes our life much easier, right? Next one after that. Even here, when you start with the beginning to the middle of something, okay, then another secret. What is that? Copy this, just show you. You see here, when you start with a sequence of characters, when you are extracting the first half of a string, right? Then you don't need to mention that start index because always by default, if it is first half of string, by default you starts with 0. You can just put colon there, leave that position blank. That's still 100% value. Now run this. Now you can see the same output twice. You can see we are able to see gnome again. You got it? And there are many more such secrets in this slicing. So we are going to reveal it one by one. Okay. Are you following, friends? Is this clear for all of you? So this is how first
Yes.
thing understand. Understand slicing, friends. Thank you. Thanks for the response. Understand slicing. What is this slicing? How do you play around slicing? The important thing of slicing is what is it? Where is that, buddy? You can see that. This is the very simple syntax you should apply. The start and end index. End is exclusive. Second thing, right now how you are extracting that data, just check that. Like, we are just applying different scenarios. And the secrets that are associated in this slicing. Like, if you see, right, if you are trying to extract first half of a string, you don't need to mention that start index. Second half of a string, you don't need to mention end index. Likewise, there are many things. We'll go one by one. But if you want to extract something in the middle, then you don't have a choice. You have to mention start and end index. Both are must. So this exemption is only for when you try to extract a slice of some first part or slice of some last part, second part or something. But something in the middle, you must specify that start and end index. Suppose I want this middle two characters empty. Then what is the starting character there? That in this case, you must and should pass both start and end index. So S1 of and the middle two. The index of M is 3. Okay, and then T is 4. So you can see here, I have to specify 3 colon. If it is 4, I should pass till 5. If I just pass, I just only get one character. Right, now run this now. Now you can see that I got empty, the middle thing. And in this scenario, we don't have exemption like, you cannot skip the start index or you cannot avoid end index. You have to have both in place. So this is another important thing of slicing. And then also, suppose you see here, friends, this is another quick secret. What is that? S1 of, okay, colon minus 1. See this. Just now, sometime back, you remember, right? We discussed about range function, and in that range function, we did discuss third form. You remember that third form, friends? What is the specialty of third form? It has What is that it has, friends? It has step, right? Same thing you can apply here on slicing as well. I just say that colon colon means I just left that start and end index blank, okay? And I just mentioned -1 means this means you are trying to reverse a string, the whole string. Now, if I run this, you can see the last string got, I mean, the last output gives us reversed string. You can see that we got. Can you see that there? So when you, this is another secret of slicing. S1 colon colon minus. Suppose you see here, okay, we can also apply step in with slicing, friends. Another interesting scenario, right? Another secret, right? Suppose you see here, I just say that -2. Can anyone of, can someone please let me know what happens when I put -2 here with this slicing instead of -1? It's like printing in reverse order, it's fine, but reverse incrementing each character by minus by step 2. Now, if you see that, you can see that what is that happening? It starts with H and it has incremented by 2. It go to E. Again increment by 2. It go to M. It just keep a T there. Why? Because incrementation is how much, friends? Is 2. You got it right. Likewise, you can play around this slicing by choosing this step wisely. Okay, so same step can also be applied for what? For positive step as well. So we can also use it for incrementing in positive direction. Suppose I have a, you just have this. Suppose you start with 0, ends with something, okay, and then colon. You can just add 2, okay. So I just allowed like 0 colon colon 2. Let's run this now. Now you can see there what happened. It starts with n, so nom tech, and then incremented each character, traversed each character by 2. You can see after that it go to 0, sorry, O. After that it go to T. After that it go to C. Right? That's what we got here. Not NOTC. So it's not like this. This step is applied only for reversing. Step can be used in even in positive order. Okay. So this is a quick idea about this slicing and the secrets associated with slicing. Now you understood this basic concept of slicing. You can play around this by taking different examples, friends. But slicing is very important and very simple and powerful. So that is the important note we should have, friends. Okay. So that is overall idea. I'm just sharing this in the chart. Next after that. So finally, what we do is practice till this. Okay, we have so much to discuss. Tomorrow, definitely it's going to be one of another very useful session for you. Productive session, definitely, because there is so much you learned if you apply in your day-to-day development. Okay. So we are going to learn all that. Okay. So we'll work on all these scenarios, different scenarios, and then try to understand more of strings. Okay, we'll stop here for today because it's not like I want to, but let's have a quick hard stop and then practice all this and come back tomorrow, friends. We work on all this. I hope you got clarity on different slice strategies, right? All different ways of doing slicing, the exact way of what is the purpose of slicing. And this is actually very useful thing in real time, friends. Okay, it's a very, what shall we say that it's a tool kind of thing which helps you to play around data, not just only on string type, even on list or tuple or all this. Okay, any more questions before we stop this session today?
Hi, this is Ravindra.
Yeah,
One
Ravi.